I live in St David's, which is the smallest city in Britain on the west coast of Wales. And I grew up surrounded by nature from a really young age, spending time on the cliffs and on the beaches and on the coastline around us. And nature's been part of my life since my very, very first memories and informed how we live, what we live for, and the decisions I make every single day in my business and personal life. I started TWAF Adventure 35 years ago as a multi-sport adventure business here on the west coast of Wales. We pioneered the sport of coasteering, do amazing sea kayaking, rock climbing, surfing, and a whole bunch of other things, and have taken something like 200,000 people to play in nature in that time. And our mission is to get people to fall in love with nature so deeply that it changes the way they live. I've got 4 grown-up children and 2 grandchildren, and we're lucky that they spend a lot of time with us here on the coast in St David's. And the actions that we've taken since they were small and we continue to take today are about trying to create the best future for them. So it's an obvious thing to do that any savings that we make are in line with the values that we've spent 30 odd years training our children to become part of. So when I started looking at green pensions in the same way we did in terms of designing a house about a green house, it was really hard to find people who really knew what they were talking about. And in the early days, there were no such thing as green pension providers. There'd be pension providers who did like a green thing on the side. That was the best thing that we could do. So for me, when I came across the path, it was a natural step to take to move all of my investments to someone who completely got the reason why making green investments in the first place was the right thing to do, rather than someone who just wanted it as a sideshow into a portfolio of businesses, investments that were doing the wrong thing. For many people, where our money ends up in our pensions and savings is like a black box. We know it's in there somewhere but can't see it. The level of transparency and reporting that I've seen in the first couple of years from the path has given me real confidence to know which funds my money's invested in, how's that doing. And I talk on a daily basis or a weekly basis with the people running my pensions in the investment managers. It's fantastic. One of the things I've always been prepared to do as well is to compromise. But right now, the performance of ethical pensions, there is no compromise on performance because they're invested in some of the most progressive, forward-looking businesses on the planet. I spent a few days in the last week working as a volunteer in an archaeological dig near my house. We're excavating an old chapel with graves up to 1,300 years old. It's given me real time to think about the time forward, not just in terms of days and hours, managing our diaries, but about generations and centuries ahead. So we have to have the courage to think far further down the line about the actions that we take today, making the future we want to create tomorrow. A question that occurred to me the other day about people who are saving money for futures is to say, do you intend to spend all of your savings before you die? And if so, just carry on. But if your plan is not to spend all of your savings before you die, who are the people whose future it is you're saving for? And if you're saving for a better future for your children, would you not want the future that they're living in to be the best one that you can help create? And if the answer to that is yes, then getting those pensions to be as deep green as you can is the only logical step that I could take and that I would advocate others to do the same.